how to tell stories. He's been doing it for 2 decades now, professionally with Indicolite. Was Indicolite Media, now it's Indicolite. And so I'm super excited because he's got some amazing things for you guys. So listen up, take notes, and be thankful that you're here. So let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. So I'll probably move a lot. I might stand for a little bit. I might sit like this for a little bit. I might go sit down in this chair for a little bit. I might walk out and walk back in. I might get really weird. That's life. So first off, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a Startup Week. This is a commitment that you're doing for yourself, so you should be giving yourself a pat on the back for taking time to learn new skills, new ways to share what you're up to, because at the end of the day, you are the only person who has the most ultimate control over what your destiny is really going to be all about. So today we're going to talk about telling your story, your company story, your personal story, your organization, talking about your product. And so in 45 minutes, I'm going to try to give you some great nuggets. At the end of this, I want to open up some questions and maybe where are you at with your business and how can we create a story for you? Doing a little role play here so you can walk out ultimately having something that you can use in your business. So my story started a long time ago. At a very young age, I was raised by a single entrepreneurial woman. My mother is a dynamic. I'm gonna lose. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me more pump because.
Okay. All right. We had some feedback from the audience. It was too loud.
Oh, okay.
But we did compromise, turn it down a little bit.
There you go.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Okay.
The other person cannot outshine me, so I'm just totally kidding.
We make sure of that.
Come on in, you guys. Welcome. Everything I want to say today is my own opinion, by the way. These are my own opinions, things that have worked for me. They may not work for you, but I just like to give that default because I've had a couple of people come to me going, what do you mean when you say marketing is BS? And I said, well, that's kind of a broad statement. Let me break it down. So I started a long time ago. I was inspired by my mother. My mother is a single woman, entrepreneur, and she was a real estate agent and broker. And at that time growing up, I saw my mother really living a life that she enjoyed. And she did what she needed to do, but she was a very hardworking woman. And I saw that in her eyes that she was able to live a life that she loved by doing what she loved. So I took that on, and at the age of 12, I got sent to military school. Thanks, Mom. Looked up to you. There we go. I'm out. So 12 years old, I got sent to Military Academy, Howe Military Academy. In case any of you are familiar with military schools in the U.S., it's in Howe, Indiana. It's an Amish village with this huge campus, and I lived there for 2 years. Well, during those 2 years, I started playing music for the cadets in the barracks, and I thought that was pretty cool my first year, and then they started calling me DJ. They're like, you're the DJ. And I was like, oh, that's cool. All right. So my second year, I came back to military school. I got the word that I was a commanding officer this year, and I was going to be leading 300 cadets. I was like, all right. So this means I have to learn leadership real quick. I was 13. So think of running a formation every day, marching, leading, and academics, everything at 13 years old. Probably explains why I'm at today. So fast forward now, coming home, 14 years old, I looked at my mom and I said, I want to be a DJ. I don't want to do school, I just want to be a DJ. She's like, this is cool, I'll honor this, however, we got to get you through education. You need to at least get your diploma. I said, all right. And she goes, we're going to keep you in private school. So I went to private school. That didn't work for me. I just got kicked out. Then went to public school. That didn't work out for me. Almost got kicked out. Finally, my mom says, you want to be a DJ? I said, yeah. And she goes, I will buy you all the equipment, but you have to do this. I was 16 years old. I said, all right. She said, I'll take you out of high school. You're going to get homeschooled until you get your diploma. I said, all right. So I was a high school dropout, got my diploma. I didn't go to college or anything fancy like that. I just had a passion at 16 years old to be a DJ. So I did that, started my first company, Big Boy Entertainment. Pretty cool. It wasn't gonna be Bad Boy, but Puff Daddy had to take it, and my mom's like, you're not really a bad boy anymore. You got that out of your system. So Big Boy Entertainment started, and I found a niche. I started high school dances in the Miami Valley area, 16, 17 years old, DJing all these school dances, and realized, wow, I started making more money than my friends. And I started realizing I'm making more money than some of my friends' families that are working full-time jobs. I was like, wow. this is interesting. So I say all this to bring a full circle end, is that I have been led of understanding my gifts, and then when I was 25, I opened a nightclub at the age of 19. I had a record deal in Europe at the age of 19. I had a lot of really cool things, but they all crumbled right below me. And I got the call when I was in Europe that I lost everything, and I had to come back to Dayton, Ohio. And I had to start all over. So can you imagine like being on this thrive of life, and it's like, hey, everything's dropping. So I came home at 20 and kept doing my music business until 25, and then I finally said, I need to stop. There's something bigger for me out here. It's not music. I want to bring people in. I want to tell stories. This is what I love to do. I love to get with people. You know, with people all day. We're partying, we're on tour, we're getting nightclubs pumped up. It was awesome. I loved it. I got paid to party. But it wasn't me. A lot of times we do things that's not us, and we just force it. We keep doing it, and we're not happy. So I was at that point in my life where it's like, okay, I'm either going to OD or get hooked on drugs and become this animal of what I was heading towards, or I could get a hold of my life and really understand things. So at 25 years old, I started Indigo Life Media, a full-service agency, then dialed back into only video marketing. But what I got to do now is to tell stories. So I've been doing that since the age of 25. I'll be 35 in August. I'm a Leo. That helps with anything cool. I have a brother, I have a sister, another older brother, and I just have a great support around me. So having this ability now to tell stories opened up doors. And what those doors were new clients, new relationships. It started to expand outside itself. And this is going to be really awkward, so I'm going to move this chair over. So I want to jump into, hang on here,
Take care of your
Start this. All those videos.
So, it's all these videos. Yes. Backstory, let me introduce what Indigo Life is in case you're wondering. Indigo Life is a full video marketing agency. So for the last 15 years, we've been able to help businesses, organizations, people establish and maintain virtual relationships utilizing video. So in 2006, I became a YouTube partner, and I started producing videos on YouTube. They took off. Next thing I know, I was like, why am I not doing this for businesses? This is amazing. So that's what we've been doing since then. Last year, we launched our own video streaming platform, IndigoLifeTV.com. So it's like a Netflix. All the shows are produced here in Dayton, and they're all conscious driven. So this is pretty cool. So we get to tell stories all day long. That's what we get to do. And we get to help businesses tell stories. So to survive, you must tell stories. This is a great quote. Heads up. My wife put these slides together this afternoon. This was, I wasn't even supposed to do this class. This was supposed to be Scott Stone, and then the universe was like, no, Andrew, here you go. It's going to be you. So this got all put together last minute, so thank you, Lauren. But this is great. To survive, you must tell stories. How many of us tell stories all the time? It's a connection piece. That's what we do. We sit down with our friends. The first thing we do, how's your day? My day's great. We start telling stories. Sometimes we start telling stories that aren't even true. We're like meaning-making machines inside of this brain, and we start telling stories. And the funny one is, a couple weeks ago, my wife and I were in the mountains driving in Tennessee, and it hurts my heart because I don't like killing things. But the squirrel ran out, and I hit it. And instantly, my wife looks at me, and she goes, you know, my story is that he had rabies, and it was his time to go. And that's what's going to give me comfort. And I was like, me too, that's a good story. So instantly, we created a story that made things a little bit easier for ourselves. You know, there could have been a lot of stories that went into that. But to survive, you must tell stories. It's what gives us life. It's what puts meaning to things. It gives depth to our relationships. So we need to start implementing these stories in our business in different ways. It's going to be different for all of you here, right? So these are going to be very broad ways to start doing it. But to survive, you must tell stories. We got to know each other. We have to connect on a relationship, human basis. So why? This is definitely a rapidly changing digital environment. How many of you are on Facebook right now and you get bombarded with ads of products? Okay. Some of you have been so blasted you can't even raise your hand up with ads. You're still like, what? Yeah, I want a new backpack. So product pushing gets old, and that's why it's important to start telling stories. We need to stop leading with the product and with the organization and start leading with stories. What is the why? We're losing that in the way we're showing up in our advertising. So for us, we're a video marketing agency, but we want to share people's stories. That's our why. We want the people to have a platform to share who they are. Storytelling creates a personal connection. Obviously, we all know that. That's why we have friends. I like to equate virtual relationships and telling stories to our actors, and how video marketing is a lot like watching our favorite actors on the big screen. So, how many of you have a favorite actor or actress? Yeah. Favorite musician? Yeah. And every time they put out a new album or a new movie, you're there to support them, right? Right. Have you met them? No. Dude, not at all. And if you did, it probably cost you money to like stand in line and shake their hand, take a picture, and that's it. What they've done is they created a virtual relationship. They've showed up consistently. They've showed up vulnerably. They've showed up authentically. These are words that we hear a lot, but we don't really put the meaning to what that is. The word authentic, my wife and I was like, we want to enhance like the authentic conversation. She goes, that word is thrown around so much. But it's true. Is these actors and actresses and musicians, they show up consistently and vulnerably, and they keep taking on new roles, new ways to share things, and that's why we fall in love with them. We can do the same thing with our products, with our company. That's what we do at Indigo Life, is create these relationships with people. And that's what we help other businesses do as well, is share these stories. And relatedness helps brand loyalty. How many like to have a conversation about things that relate with you? Right? It's hard to have a conversation with someone when there's no background relatedness. It's all about me, 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 me. Well, we need to start shifting that conversation about we. This is a we effort, not a me effort. And a lot of times in marketing, we're told push it, get it out there, sell, sell, sell. Not anymore. These next generations are going to eat you alive. They're going to call BS before you even approach a marketing strategy. And so we need to be ahead of that curve and understanding what's getting ready to come down in this funnel is that we need that background relatedness. We need to build that trust with these individuals and stop trying to just push the product. That's a very important thing, is to have that relatedness and storytelling and just to start sharing. And sharing, just in general. And I'm flying through this, guys, so if you guys have questions, please raise your hand. But at the end of this, I really want to open this up. So I have 45 minutes, and usually this is hours that we can go through. So, steps to get started. Obviously, start with your why, the passions, the values. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it the money? Is it the people? Is it the product? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is there a passion in it? I always say, if you can't do what you do for free, you shouldn't do it. Because that allows that authenticness, that vulnerability if you would do it for free. It means you're open to it. So finding that why. So what inspires your work within the business? What is it that makes you tick? What is it that allows you to continue doing what you do every day? A lot of people build businesses and they forget about these main structures of how to share their story. They just automatically get it up, they make some Facebook ads, they put some things in a magazine, they do whatever they need to do, and then you shoot it out there. There's no depth to it. Don't make marketing and sharing your story a checklist. We are way past that time. Okay, we got Facebook ads done. And if you have somebody running your marketing and they're just allowing themselves to go into a checklist world, have a heart-to-heart with them and let them know we need to bring intention back to marketing. We need to bring intention back to sharing our story as a business, as an organization, or as an individual. If your brand was a person, how would you describe them? Who here has a business and you would love to share how you would describe your business? Anybody?
If my business was a person, how would I describe it?
Yeah, your business?
Pretty much a very curious person.
Yeah, very curious?
Yeah, someone who likes to learn and then apply it and then use it to help.
Perfect. So you're saying he would, curiosity and people that want to learn. With Indigo Life, our brand is how we describe Indigo Life is that we're about the people. We're about friendships and connection and community. We want to get out into the community and connect people, and we use a social platform to do that in video by telling a story. What does your business believe in? Think about that. What do you believe in? Right? These are good, Lauren. These are real good. You guys are like, he's good. This is not me. Behind every good-looking man is a phenomenal woman. But think about it. These are things that we talk about a lot. It's not like it's like, hey, can you do my homework? Kind of was. A little. No. But think about this. What does your business believe in? What is it? Hope? Love, peace, connection to community, bringing more people around, whatever it is in your industry. We're about connection of people. That's why we started our own video streaming platform, so we can make Daytonians. Our tagline is, your favorite actors are your neighbors. We're giving people a platform to share and to be self-expressed. We're all about social responsibility. Well, this is what we believe in, is social responsibility, self-expression, and to be conscious with each other. How do you stand out from the others? What makes you different? Share that. What makes us different at Indigo Life is that we create our own content. We practice what we preach every day. We create more videos and content in this community than any other business. Besides like date.com, but you get lost in all that, right? They're a different source of media, obviously. But we're creating shows and content. We create more than anyone here in the community as a small business. But that's what we're committed to. That's what makes us stand out. We have a show called Decoding Dayton. And we have another reality show called I Am, Revolutionist. We have a series called Voices Project that makes us stand out. We hit 2.5 million people in 2 months. Had an article in Forbes about it with what is happening here in Dayton with the addiction and the opiate problem. We're passionate about that. We want to bring awareness to it in a good light. So that's what makes us stand out. So think about what makes you stand out and start sharing that. Because that's what creates that background relatedness. People are like, oh, you're different. I like this. Something new. And have you overcome any particular challenges? These are great, great questions to ask yourself. I come up across challenges all the time. And a lot of times we doubt ourselves as human beings. I can't do it. Nope, there's no way. I don't have enough education. I don't make enough money. I don't look this way, right? I mean, growing up, I had everybody tell me, Andrew, good luck. Your ADHD to like the 20th power. You need more than Ritalin. You have learning disabilities. Good luck. You dropped out of high school. Da, 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 da. Here I am today. I didn't allow any of that to become my reality. They were challenges, but I didn't allow it to become our reality. I got out of the music industry, making great money. That was a huge challenge to find something new. But I had to dig deep and to find out what it was that I loved. And that was picking up that video camera again that I loved to do in high school. But there was challenges. I just produced a reality show. It became so many challenges I've never had in my life, and I wanted to quit so many freaking times. Because it was new to me. It was uncomfortable. But getting uncomfortable and allowing yourself to fail becomes more comfortable. Now I'm like, sign me up for as many reality shows. Let's go. I'm ready to go. I can shoot it. We can do whatever we need to do. But there was a challenge there. So think about how have you overcome any particular challenges? Is there anyone here that has maybe recently overcame a challenge that you want to share? You don't have to. It's all right. Yes?
I think for me, starting my own business, just doing Instagram and just buried myself in it. I mean, that was like, I hated social media, but now I have to love it,
Yep.
you know? And so that was a challenge for me, yeah.
Social media is a challenge for me too.
What's your Instagram?
Party with the Snap.
Party with Snap. I'm on
Party with the Snap. All right. See, we can share it. We can follow you now. And that's the nice thing about social media is we get to like share with each other. We can connect. But it is intimidating, right? To this day, my mom's like, I can't get on Instagram. I don't want to do any of that. I'm like, Mom, I know. Might have to though. It might be that time. And it doesn't always have to be about you. Engage your customers in the process to share their story. A lot of times we just share us all the time. And we found that the magic is really sharing the people. Sharing people around you. For example, we have something called Revolutionist. It was a series we did last year. And we just found people in the community and shared their story. I sat down and I asked them 5 questions. Who are you? What do you do for fun? Share a challenge and how you overcame it. What inspires you daily? And if you had a message for the world, what would it be? To the 5.5 billion people or whatever number it is. I asked that to every single person that we interviewed and created these stories around, and they all had different answers. But what happened was that we gave them an outlet to share who they are to the world, and in that, Gave us exposure. That wasn't the intent, but the intent was we want to share people and who they are. And in that, we created clients. We got new clients out of it. That wasn't the intention. We didn't say, let's make videos and hope we get business. That wasn't what we did. But we realized once we started putting other people out there and sharing who they were, things started to happen. And I have a few other examples I'll get to here in a second. Does anybody want to take a picture of this or do anything? I don't want to move this too fast. So how? Elements to consider. Problem-based, right? Curiosity. These are forms of like information you can start sharing in a story format. How? Problem-based. Do you have knowledge? Here's the thing, you can start making videos and sharing who you are on Facebook Live, things like that. You don't need to go out and buy tons of cameras right now. If you want to start sharing your story of who you are and what's going on, my suggestion to you is to get in front of your camera on your phone first and start learning how to do that and being comfortable, because there's something very intimidating about a video camera and lights and a microphone to the human mind. You freeze up and you're like, you get scared like a little kid. You're like, I'm not doing it. Nope, not today. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's a lot better. It's not supposed to be raining outside. See, you'll find so many excuses. We are like excuse capital right here. Like, as this human body, we find anything we can do. But problem-based, if you have information, start sharing it. It may not have to do with anything in your field, but maybe something you're passionate about. So I know I follow James on Facebook, and he's a good friend of mine. And James shares videos all the time that are about, I don't even know. They're like quantum physics and algebraic equations that have like 28 numbers. But he's sharing things that have nothing to do with his industry as a musician, as an audio guy, a video guy. He's sharing things that he's solving problems. And I find that pretty cool. So every time he posts a video, I'm like, oh, I guess he's saying something. He's hitting some knowledge bombs. So share things that maybe you can give a solution to. Unique. Be different. For example, when I was in real estate for a little while, I made the dumbest real estate, and my wife's like, don't show it. Don't show it. So what happened in real estate? I don't take myself seriously. I think humility is one of the most magical tools that we can apply as a human, is to be able to laugh at yourself and have fun. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, you're not going to enjoy this time on this planet. You really have to laugh at yourself. So being unique, I started making these marketing music videos for my real estate career. One was like a hoedown. I wrote a country song. I produced it. I hate country. Sorry for all you country people, but I can't stand it. But I did it because I thought it was fun. I made the music, and I went out, and I was on a farm, and I was talking about buy or sell. Just Google Exit Realty Hoedown if you want to get on YouTube. It's hilarious. And a lot of people thought I was serious. I still have friends that are like, I don't know what to think. Like, if you're on the spectrum. And I was like, I'm definitely on the spectrum. All over it. All over it. But I had fun. That's who I was. I'm an entertainer. I like to make people laugh. I like being different. I like to be able to stand out. What happened with that was I picked up a client my first 3 months in real estate, making these 2 videos that just were on YouTube. This is 2007. I'm looking at Sham because he remembers all these funny videos back in the day. 2006, 2007, I put out these videos, and in 3 months, my mom got a phone call at her brokerage and said, is Andrew White there? I picked up the phone. She said, you got a phone call. I picked it up. It was an out-of-state investor in Utah who saw this video. And he said, dude, anybody who can make videos like that, I want to work with. This is hilarious. I ended up writing 30 to 50 contracts or offers a week. My mom looks at me and she goes, there's people that have worked their whole life in real estate and have never written this many contracts. I'm like, cool. What's next? What are we doing next, Mom? She's like, just keep doing whatever you're doing. This is cool. So I was unique in my marketing. And if you go on anything of Indigo Life, we don't share really anything about our company. You won't get on our platform. You won't see any videos of us talking about video marketing, how it works for you, nothing. I don't think we have one video out of thousands and thousands of videos. So we like to be unique. Emotional. Right? We all know emotional. We all like to drop tears. We like to have that connection as humans. This is something that really drives us in. Now, do not make a video in the intent of like, we're going to pull heartstrings. That shit's for the birds. Sorry, it is. Like, don't have that intention. If you create it and people cry, cool, but don't be like, we're going to make heartstrings. You know, I have clients they'll say, we really want to hit the heartstrings. I'm like, I think that's naturally going to happen. Let's not go with that, because to me, that's not the intent. But emotion is there. So, for example, we use emotion in most of all of our content, but recently we just dropped a show called I Am, and it's a transformational reality show. We follow 5 women here in the Miami Valley through 3 months of mind, body, spirit transformation. It was emotional, right? It was probably the most emotional content I have put out in a long, long time. So if you go to IndigoLifeTV.com, they're still coming out. New episode comes out tomorrow. But this is emotional, it's connecting. And so we get people in the community contacting us saying, thank you for this. I needed to watch this episode. So bad. Thank you. And I'm like, that's it. That's better than any paycheck. Right there, knowing that your fellow people around you in this community are becoming better human beings because of content that's being shared. And honest. Yeah, like I said, bringing it to generations that are going to call BS in no time. So being honest with your marketing, being vulnerable, sharing your story is very vulnerable, right? You have to lower that veil. You have to really prepare yourself and go, okay, this is it. I can relate it to like nude modeling. A little bit gets really uncomfortable, but once you're in a situation of sharing yourself or your story, you adapt. You get into the mode. You get into the mode of just enjoying it and being there for the people around you. If anyone's trying to imagine me naked, it's really weird. It's really weird. As I said, I don't take anything serious. So, these are some examples here. Toyota recently, well, they still have it going on right now.
Yeah.
So Toyota has something called Mothers of Invention. These are random mothers that they have chosen to share their story and who they are. They're entrepreneurs, right?
Well, they're inventing things,
Yeah, they're inventing things. They're just amazing. But Toyota is now investing in other communities to share who they are. This is a powerful thing, to start investing in your community. Who are your clients? How can you invest in your clients? A local Subaru dealership here, Wagner Subaru is a client of ours, and they are amazing. We produced a series called Guided for them. They came to us and said, we want to sell more cars. And I said, cool, let's keep the cars out of it though. Yeah. Let's do something different. Everyone else is doing it, right? And it's getting a little intimidating by watching car commercials these days. When you watch it, you're like, the new Malibu, 2018, 19, maybe 2020. It's like driving around on the mountain and it's like super clean and the rims are blinging. It's like as low as $299, right? And then you get to the dealership, you're like, yeah, I saw it. They're like, well, we can get you in for $588. And you're like, well, what about the $290? It just becomes like a facade. It's like really weird. It's intimidating. We didn't want to go that route. So we created a series called Guided. We went through this whole creative process. And what Guided is now Wagner Subaru is investing into their clients, the people who have come and bought cars and said, we want to tell their stories. So that's what we've done for almost a year now, and it's been amazing. If you go on their Facebook page or on their website, it's called Guided, and each episode we go behind the scenes in 60 to 90 seconds of someone's life, from kayaking to Wheat Penny, to the Yellow Spring Street Fair, to YSO Radio, all their community partners, people who've bought like 10 Subarus from them, and we share their story. What happens now is that these individuals have been invested in, and now they're going to go out and say, check this out. This is me. Now Wagner has invested in their community to do all their marketing for free, basically. And invested in them as people, because they invest back. We've done the same thing with Obi. Obi is a robot that was created here in Dayton, and it helps people that can't feed themselves. And so when Obi came to us, they wanted to, obviously they're hitting the market, and they wanted to get more sales, and they wanted to understand their clients, things like that. We said we can't lead with the robot. So we created something called Life Without Labels with them. And we're sharing stories about people doing extraordinary things, which some people would put a label to it. But they're here to say there are no labels. There's nothing. We are all one. We're in the same boat together, and we're doing this thing called life together. So Life Without Labels, if you go to Obi on Facebook, you can watch these. They're phenomenal. I'm not going to click them and play them. I'm just going to run through these, so take notes. But this is a great label for them to invest back in the community to allow those to share their story. They're investing in that. Decoding Dayton, like I said, this is a big project for us. We highlight how amazing the city of Dayton is, but what it is that they are things you've never known about Dayton. Really unique, interesting things of buildings, monuments, historical facts. It's a super groovy show. So if you know Jason Antonik, he's the host of the show. He's like our Brad Pitt of Dayton. He's a super sexy guy. You know, yeah, I love that guy. But anyways, this is what we do for marketing for Indigo. We share the story of Dayton because what we're about is community. Voices Project is the project I said that we're about opiate addiction and starting to share stories of recovery. We're not hearing that, especially being in Dayton, Ohio. We're like on Time Magazine. It's like a horror story. People come here and they think they're going to see zombies, and they see people with smiling faces and growing businesses and parks, and they're like, what? The news? I'm like, I know, right? the news. I love it. So we took it on. My wife and I, we both have family things that are close to this and to our hearts. So we teamed up with Ryan Hampton out in LA, and we wanted to share stories here in Dayton. And Lauren found Ryan and said, how can we support your project since you're already doing it? And he said, let's go. So we tell stories of people in recovery here in Dayton, Ohio, because that's what we need to hear more of, right? We don't hear those stories. And it reached 2.5 million people in 2 months. And then Revolution is, like I said, we take people out of the community and we share their story. We share who they are and what their message is to the world. So, here's some things. Your story's goal. Value add. What is the viewer getting? As you share your story, what is the viewer getting? How are they receiving it? And a lot of times when we start putting together stories and videos, I take myself out of my own position as Andrew White, and I put myself as a viewer, as the client, as a potential client. And I ask myself, like, am I getting this? Do I understand this? Is it resonating? And if it doesn't, I scratch it and I find something that does. So you definitely want to add value with it. Dwell time, how long is the viewer staying? How long are we keeping them engaged? We can tell stories by text and by video, but I'm going to tell you it's going to be really hard. Telling stories is going to be way more impactful by utilizing video. And you can hire any video production company around you. You can get an intern. You can hit somebody up in a local high school. You can hire Indigo Life. You can do it from your cell phone. But that's the only way you're really going to start getting these people engaged, because telling a story from all senses, when you're hearing it, seeing it, you can almost feel the person's demeanor in the video, you get a little more engaged with them. You feel a little more invested, rather than if you just look at a picture. Like we have Taylor over here on that wall on a picture, right? But if that was like a moving video and her talking or something, you would probably feel a little different connection to who Taylor is by just that. So we talk about dwell time. How long are they staying? How long are they being engaged with your videos and you and what your story is? And then loyalty. How often do they come back? This is a big thing. We want them to keep coming back to your platform, especially if you're, well, in general, we won't come back. I was going to break down some things, but it won't make sense. So loyalty to us, we had to do a lot of trial and error. We had to find a lot of things that worked, that didn't work, scratch it, let's bring this certain thing back. We had to do a lot to that. So looking ahead, the content flood, I talked about this a little bit ago, about Facebook. When we get on Facebook right now, it's just crazy. We're overwhelmed, it's overstimulating. We have all these options, and then right when you're reading your friend's post, boom, you got your little red dot pops up, right? And your brain's like, what's that red dot? What did they say? Did somebody just comment on my picture? Like, squirrel! And you like, go to there, and then you're like, shit, whose thing was I just reading? You know, and then it's like, you're watching this video and you're so moved, and then it goes, here's your ad. And it's like, buy this new Malibu. So I have here the Facebook videos, more than 2 minutes, average 31% completion. So in this case, this is probably the only case starting out, is that shorter is better. Keeping those videos short and sweet and concise is going to be really, really, really powerful. But here's something really cool. So on average, on our site with Indigo Life producing stories forever, we average 31%. When we created Indigo Life TV and we started saying, all right, basically what Indigo Life TV is we're building Noah's Ark and we're getting everybody ready for the flood. in the flood of bullcrap content that's not intentional anymore. Because we don't want your brands and your companies to be stuck in that flood, right? That's the worst, is when you're in that flood. So what we have seen now is taking all of our content and making it more stronger on a platform that has no other bombarding. There's nothing, there's no spam, there's no ads, there's nothing. We're now seeing that people can come and watch our 10 to 15 minute long episodes, Decoding Dayton and I Am, and we're getting 70% completion because there's nothing taking them away. We're a fast-paced society. We are a very high-paced society. And if we can create more things to allow people to slow down and get present, that's a win. That is a total win. So that's it. That's all that Lauren put on my slides for me. Like I said, stories are something very powerful. That's all I've ever done for my marketing, is told stories. Told stories of myself. I've been sharing who I was. When I was in the music industry, I sent VHSs of just me talking and like dancing in my basement and showing people what I could do by telling my story. And that's what got me to where I am today. That is why we have a very fast-growing business. And our clients have fast-growing businesses because they're starting to see the power of telling stories. So I encourage you guys to continue sharing who you are. Share your business. Find new ways to be different. I promise you, it's awesome. So any questions? I love questions that, how long do we have?
We got
10? Perfect, this is beautiful. We have 10 minutes. What I love more than anything is if you are someone that is sitting here and you have a business and you are like, I have no clue what Andrew just said, but I'm really interested, I would love to talk to you. Like if you were wondering how do I tell my story, I would love for you to raise your hand and go, how? And then we can all help you. Or if you're not that person, and you're just like, hey, you have a question, do that. Because you guys may be afraid, but your question may be someone else's question too. So, yes?
Of course I want to do that.
Yeah.
I think what stuck out to me the most is I want to be original. Of course, I think everyone's original, but I guess I'm trying to figure out how to make that relatable to other people. And
What's that?
Of being handmade.
Of being handmade?
yeah, just more, I guess, to show how original they are and how different it is from what you might see usually, I guess.
Yeah. So I think the first thing is the why, like making a video, sharing. Why are you doing it, right? What makes that special to you and to other people? Another thing is bringing that community in to be your validation, having them putting on the clothes and like talking about how it feels, or getting them into the mode of your story as well. That's probably the thing I would start with is like a campaign. This is a big thing too. When you're telling a story, is set yourself up for success, like a campaign. Like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do 5 Facebook Live videos, or I'm gonna make 5 videos, however it is, right? You hire someone, whatever, and that holds you accountable. Like, I'm gonna put out 1 a week, because it's that consistency, right? We put out a video every week, if not 3 or 4 every week. There's new videos coming out. So find something. Maybe the campaign's called Handmade. And it's talking about all the things you do, right? Use your hands for DJing, you use your hands for making music. You know, you're a phenomenal musician, and maybe taking people behind the scenes. You need to get people invested in what you do. So taking people into the studio, showing them how you make the clothes, like getting them in to really feel it. That would be the first place, is to find something that you can stay consistent with and keep showing yourself. Yeah. The only time people are going to know who you are is if you show up and you share yourself. Other than that, if you just hide behind a computer screen and make Facebook Lives, it's not going to really work. You need to make that and get out in your community and start engaging. Anybody else? This is a lot for 45 minutes. We can go so deep. Yes?
Do your video suggestions for content look different from for-profit and non-for-profit businesses?
Kind of, but not really. I mean, they all have... When a for-profit business comes to us, we almost handle it like a non-profit business, because we try to allow them to see the space of sharing and not the money. Where non-profits are the most selfless people you'll ever meet. And this whole business, our Indicolite was all built off of non-profits in 2007. That's all we worked with. because of that selflessness. So even when big Fortune 500 companies come to us or small business, we treat everyone the same. It's a very open, organic, real, raw thing. And producing wise, when we produce the videos, they're about the same because I don't think there's any difference. We just have